Welcome to Andorian Guitar Works Backstage.
It's a guided look at life experiences and ways and means of the guitarist's journey.
We
Welcome.
did it. We did it.
We got it.
We fucking did
First
it.
try.
First try.
Welcome back. It's 2023.
2023.
Happy New Year.
We took a little bit of a break. We didn't plan on taking that big of a break. But before I tell you about the break, Matt Ackerman,
Brian McCoy.
Fret Less, Rock More. I think the last show we did was, well, actually, we had Rented Mule slated in November.
Yes.
And then we had some tech problems, and we said no big deal because tech sucks sometimes. And we decided to go enjoy the holidays, possibly do a backstage in December during the holidays, but the holidays were crazy. If you're not watching from the Pacific Northwest, it really doesn't matter. You know, all the planes were shut down, all the airports were shut down, everyone's sliding all over the place. There was nothing to do, no one to see.
Yeah, and he's got the voice to prove it.
I got the voice to prove it. I'll tell you about that in a second. But so we just decided, screw it, and we were gonna just go ahead and do the whole holiday thing, and we would catch Rented Mule at the first of the year.
That's
so
right.
the
So
10th of the year works as well. Just
that works.
Move the decimal point.
It's 2023 now. We just moved one over.
Absolutely.
We spent some time with our families during the holidays, and
well, I guess we kind of did.
some of us did.
I have that note right here to talk about my family for the holidays, and well, I mean, I went to Mexico. I flew down to Mexico. Sick.
This is a sad story.
Yeah, well, it was an okay trip to Mexico, but I came back sounding like Danny Bonaducci.
There is that.
But yeah, went down to Mexico, sick, got well in Mexico, drank in Mexico. My son got a fever, hung out with him, and came back with like some new kind of virus. It was the Dos Equis 23 is the virus that we came home with.
It's the brown bottle flu.
Yeah, and now I'm fine, except I don't have a voice, so no singing for me, but no big deal. What else did we have going on? I guess we had some guitars.
No, I didn't really have much going on. I spent some time with my family, and that was about it. I took a week off of work to just kind of lounge around the house and watch TV with my wife, so that was kind of nice.
That's good.
I think the big news has to do with you and your guitars.
Yeah, man, I have to give a big shout out and some huge thanks to a customer of mine named JT Santos, playing with the Groove Nation band out of Seattle. He was actually the first customer to come in and buy the original Rye 99, which I have hanging up on the wall right there. Because it came in for its like 50,000 mile tune-up.
And I will say, when we're talking about these are his guitars, this literally he built the guitar. Yeah. It's his own body, everything. They're
the Andorian Guitar Works signature guitar. So he his band was playing a New Year's Eve show. They were the band featured at the Space Needle. So he played the guitar, which was fantastic. And then he asked if he could borrow the Mariana, which is this guy. And so I said, yeah, absolutely. So he was gracious enough to actually rock the Andorian Guitar Works line in front of 2,000 people under the Space Needle on New Year's Eve. So huge freaking shout out. Thank you so much for repping. We couldn't do it without folks like you.
He even wore the gear on the Cairo interview. It was pretty crazy.
It was pretty fantastic.
Now, just real quick, can you tell us, beyond just the paint color?
Sure.
What are the differences of these two guitars?
So the deal with, we started off, well, the Behemoth is on the wall over there, which I think I showed up like one of the early shows. That was the prototype.
Right.
Made it out of the world's heaviest wood. It's hybridized with like carbon steel. And no, it's called Paduke. It's a beautiful red wood. It makes your shop look like someone bled all over it, and it'll never be clean. Gorgeous, gorgeous red wood, and it's like heavier than lead.
Yes.
But that was, I guess, the way I decided I was going to learn my craft for my guitar. I was on the world's hardest wood. And then so that back there, the Rye 99, is we took that model, scaled it down about an inch all the way around. I used a solid ash body. Solid ash body, and all the buckers, turned it into a rock machine. And then
it certainly is.
Done some like that. And then I was like, okay, I want to start actually experimenting with the mahogany maple combo, which is how this one came about. So this is a mahogany body, which is chambered, and then a maple top. And I experimented with different ways of dyeing this. We wanted to go with this oceanic topography map style. So I actually sat down and colored this thing within the grain of the wood and then did some effect on the 2K finish to make it look like water streaming around rocks to create some eddies and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is my guitar.
And you've got videos of you working on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up
on
here on
TikTok and
YouTube,
Instagram and YouTube
TikTok,
and all that stuff.
All the socials, the my page and the FaceTimes and the whatevers.
The thing that I realized with this guitar is that once I crossed into doing like the multi-piece bodies, it allowed me to put resonance chambers in it, which really changed the game. So I'm still doing solid bodies for customers that want that, but I really think I'm going to start steering this towards the 2-piece, where you can do these, glorious like spalted quilted maple tops and have that mahogany maple combo, which gives you that warmth and that resonance that people are looking for.
Definitely. Now you also did before that, before you got to the Mariana, I should say, you did have a couple that
we had a couple.
You built that
we
were
did
the
several that
fender benders.
The fender benders. I called them the fender bender without vowels. So FNDRBNDR. Does that work?
Yes.
Fender bender. And actually, those are about. So they're great guitars. I was thinking it's an experiment between me and a wonderful tattoo artist in Olympia, Washington, Travis Brown, at a Fleshworks Tattoo Studio. And I think many people have come down there and played them for hours and hours and hours and then just haven't bit the bullet on buying them yet. So we're about to, spoiler alert, heavily discount those for people to come in and snag those and have an original piece of art from Enduring Guitar Works and Fleshworks Tattoo. Yeah, so they're freaking fantastic.
If you're in or around Olympia, go down, check out Fleshworks, and check out the guitars for sure. So
let's dive in.
Yeah, without further ado, like we said earlier, we've had this band scheduled before. Yes. We had some technical difficulties. So now, second time's a charm. We'd like to bring to you Rented Mule, Peter McLean, Adam Yost, Jason Yost, and Cameron Rich. Welcome, guys. How are you tonight?
What's going on?
Fantastic. We can hear you, and that's great. I guess we can let everyone know that even though we had tech problems before we dove into tonight, without tech problems, and at the last minute right before go live, more tech problems, and we hammered them out. So thank you for your electronic savviness over there,
and stick-to-itiveness
on the other side of the
Thanks,
neighborhood.
Jason.
Yeah. Jason, thank you. And before we get too far into it, just a reminder to our viewers, and we'll remind throughout the show, we do have chat available. If you want to ask questions of us or the band, please feel free to chime in. We will get to them as we can.
Right on.
So first, I just wanted to start off by mentioning you, Jason. You reached out to Andorian Guitar Works to, possibly get on to Backstage, which here you are, and 2, because you wanted to have some work done on your guitar. So here you are on our show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the guitar?
Well, it started life as an import Floyd Rose guitar, and then it had a quilted maple veneer. It was black, and I never liked black guitars that much, and I wanted a pink sparkly one, so I had it painted. Here it is.
I dig it, man.
You can see that?
That's the
it's going. We had such a fun time on that one too. It was an interesting situation because when he came, when Jason, it was a really good opportunity, I think, for us to not only bond over the instrument, but actually have a chance to kind of dive into something that could have been oh man, that's not so cool, because as customer relationship, builder relationship, he said, we paint my guitar. I'm like, yeah, I can paint your guitar, but I've never painted it as a service before. I always paint my own guitars. Mm-hmm. And so we learned some lessons around that. And at the end of the day, man, we got to learn what that guitar looked like purple, and we got to learn what it looked like pink, and we got to do it a couple times.
That's right.
Man, I'm actually really glad that we dove into that one and didn't stop until we got it the way you wanted it, because that thing is a pink machine. It's gorgeous, and
the Pink Floyd.
I hope you love it.
That's actually its name.
Yeah,
the Pink Floyd. Yeah. So what's the reaction when you take that on stage? I got to imagine. What's that?
First, the headstock's pretty cool because it has that fat hole in it.
Yeah.
And people always notice that, but then a metal flake pink paint job stands out a lot. So yeah, people like it.
Very
I
cool.
like it, and it started with everything in it was pretty low quality, and then I had the Floyd Rose upgraded. I had the pickup upgraded, switch. Or it doesn't have a switch. The volume knob was upgraded, tuners, everything else, and then the last piece was a paint job. And
Yeah, I
put it all
noticed when I
together.
was in there, like I didn't think Floyd Rose as a company was using like those high grade CTS pots, but like
They
I
sure
guess
aren't.
I didn't even know that you had done that work ahead, but that makes perfect sense. It is kind of funny though that a Floyd Rose guitar wouldn't come with their top of the line Floyd Rose like just out the
Right,
door. Like
yeah.
it's
That's kind of
but,
interesting.
but
Well, it was their budget model.
Yeah.
So
but very,
very
cool.
cool,
Very
very
I
cool.
don't think
guitar.
Floyd Rose uses Gibson pickups either.
That's probably true. It's probably true. I wanted to point out too that Adam and Jason are brothers, and so I played music with my brother as well throughout the years, and we've also had other endeavors in the music industry, record label and whatnot. So, how is your relationship as musicians and as brothers? How does that
I'll let
work?
Adam take that one.
I'll let you have it, man.
It's been pretty awesome, to be honest, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's rad.
We definitely have had ups and downs. We butt heads more than we should, but he's a great, great guy, and yeah, I couldn't imagine making music with anyone else besides my brother.
That's awesome. I love it.
That is super cool because you hear both sides of the spectrum on that one. Very rarely, I think, if you see siblings like doing music, do you ever have somebody kind of in the middle of the road saying, "Yeah, it's good." It's either Noel and Liam,
Yeah.
or it's guys like you, you know.
I guess we're getting some feedback that the mic is a little bit soft on
Our mic?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, put it in your mouth, guys.
So yeah, I guess deep throat that thing. We'll have to see if we can fix that for the next round. I think it'll sound a lot better when you guys are playing the music. I think obviously when you're singing, you're getting more out there. But
I'm not sure how to combat person speaking has his head cut off because
I think that was Jason.
Oh.
When he was coming up
Okay.
closer to,
All
he's
right.
a little closer to the camera.
So, Cameron, I was reading when I was going through your website that you had come into the band later on, if I understood it correctly. And I guess I kind of have some experience with that, especially on bass. I actually walked into this guy's band. Actually, Jesus, it was about like 6 years ago at this point.
Yeah, right after we put out our record.
For me, it was interesting because I felt like, I was being asked to play a role, but at the same time, I was also being invited to change and to add to the character of the group. And I was wondering if you could kind of speak a little bit to that and how did you feel like your entry to the band actually helped with the band's continued formation and growth?
Well, I mean, basically, these guys were forming a band. We were hanging out a lot before that. And then I didn't get to hang out with my friends, so I'm like, I'll play the bass. Like, let me know.
Right on.
And
Nice.
yeah, it just worked out pretty well. But
We were spending way too much money on Magic, and we had to quit.
yeah, we were nerding out pretty hard. And I was like, oh, you guys are playing music? Like, yeah, we might need a bass player. I'm like, dude, I'll play the bass. I want to still hang out.
Nice.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about Magic in many, many years, and yet that's like the fourth reference this week to
Really?
Magic that I've come across. So maybe that's an indicator that I need to dive into that world.
That's funny. My wife taught me how to play, and now we play it every once in a while together. So
Right on.
she whoops my ass.
Yeah, I had made this decision because I've been a guitar player since I was 14, and then around 2008 or 2009 or so, there's this weird. I ended up auditioning back for a band that I played with once upon a time, and they had kind of reformed, but lost a guitar player, and so I came back into the band and did the appropriate. I re-auditioned for my old band just to make sure it was good. And I showed up to audition, and the bass player didn't. And as it turned out, that bass player had ambitions of becoming the lead guitar player and was pissed off that I was there again. And I didn't have time for that kind of drama, so I said, screw it, we're a four-piece. I went, I took me and my broke ass, and I walked into Guitar Center and picked up their Guitar Center card and just bought an entire, thing and figured out how to pay it off later. That was how I became kind of a bass player. And then by the time 2014, 2015 rolled around, I just no, I'm just going to do guitar. I'm done with bass. And I sold off my bass rig. And this guy comes at me like 6 weeks after this monumental transaction, says, "Hey, you want to play bass?"
We had been talking for years about he and I playing in a band together, and so the opportunity arose, and well, he had to get new gear. Let's put it
I had
that
to
way.
get new gear.
That's fun though.
Yeah, that's good. That's cheap.
It's a cheap hobby. Don't
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Christy is asking if we're gonna sing.
We're not gonna sing.
I'm gonna sing. That's what I'm
you
here
wanna
to
sing?
do.
Is that what the voice is all about?
Yeah,
And
I
smoking
was
lots
gonna
of
sing.
cigarettes?
I was gonna sing some tracks off of Tremonti's Sinatra album.
Ah,
No,
good luck.
let's go ahead and BS for a minute while these guys break down and get set up as a band.
Yeah.
And so we'll just continue to talk. You give us the thumbs up when you are ready to rock, and we'll turn it over to them.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about in the few minutes that we have?
No, I don't know. Let's talk about tech. Let's talk about the kind of gumption it takes to dive in and do this kind of stuff. And every single time you have a different problem that you haven't had to solve before because it wasn't a problem before.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a pain in the butt.
But you know what I saw this week? I saw like, I want to do this. What do? You do this. But I'm scared or I don't have the experience.
Yeah. You just do it. So yeah, they've switched off. We'll give them the
Oh, they
heads up
switched
when-
off, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, well,
right.
Yep, we can hear you.
So I think we're gonna switch it over.
Yeah,
now.
so we're
I
gonna
think
kick
they're about-
over.
just about ready to go.
So we're gonna go silent for a minute, and then you'll have these guys.
They're pointing.
I'm not afraid of broken promises, legged lies. Oh no, another truth hiding somewhere, right between your eyes. I've said it all before, and I'll say it again. Oh, had your way with honesty, so give me a chance. Oh, there's a devil in you. It's the devil I need. It's the devil I need. The tongue I'm running with my heart. The devil I'll see. And I don't know where you slept last night. And it wasn't you. And as good a man you may be, ask yourself, honestly, does he always make you smile when he's come night alone? And when you get into his eyes, see a feeling in your soul. Oh, the devil in you, it's the devil I need, it's the devil I need. I'm running with my heart, the devil I'll see, it's the devil I need. Tell me that I'm a fool, and I'll beg mercy, please. Please. Oh, there's a devil in you, the devil I need. When you cry at night, does he even notice? If you're crying tonight, I'll be there with roses. Oh, there's a devil in you, it's the devil I need, it's the devil I need. The tongue I'm running with my heart, the devil I I'll see. The devil I fear. Tell me that I'm a fool, and I'll beg mercy, please. Oh, there's a devil in you, the devil I need here. Oh, there's a devil in you, the devil I
All right, we're gonna jump right into the next one. This one's
Heck yeah.
called Against the Gray.
All right. Love this tune.
Yes, you're so tired, work so hard for your empire. Now you watch the flames grow high, raise the cloud of blaze. You were admired, looking back, it just set fire. Towards the bridges you acquired, knowing it's too late. Good red bones that were thrown off stone. You don't wanna know the answers that they owe. So tempting to turn your back on everything. Run away from your family. The love you cast aside. It's so empty now. You're not in your 20s. Dressing up to so scared. They yearn to turn their eyes. Hey, hey! Hey, hey! It's the bones that were grown of stone. You wanna know the answers that they owe. You told me all the ways you could love me. But lately all you show me is you don't even know me. You said you would show me all the ways you could love me. But lately all you show me is you don't even know me. You said you would show me all the ways you could love me. But lately all you show me you don't even know me. Said you would show me all the ways you could love me. All the ways you could love me. All you show me is you don't even know. Yeah, these empires loose and teeth from your neck. Blood trickling down and you twist like fading from your eyes. Remember the first time that we met. How innocent were your hands now, cold against the grave. Cold against the grave.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Awesome. We're gonna give him a couple
So, yeah,
seconds
they're
here
gonna-
to get switched back over. That was
Absolutely.
That was rad, man.
First time I heard these guys, I think I may have told you, but specifically that tune, Against the Grave, reminded me of a band that I played with like in 2007 back in Ellensburg called the 47th Parallel.
Oh, right.
And a reference to, well, I mean, obviously we're all pretty close to the 47th, but a Yakima band. But the thing that I love, and give us a heads up or give us a thumbs up once we know you can hear us. Very cool.
We can hear you.
The thing that I am loving about this group is that this 4-piece puts out a sound that's like way bigger than a 4-piece sound,
For sure.
but is not. I don't like the word cluttered, but you know, sometimes bands, especially like when you're doing a low budget podcast like this, they can sound a little cluttered with more of that instrumentation like that. And you guys are keeping it super clean, and it sounds massive. It sounds huge. I love the energy.
Yeah, it sounds
Right
great.
on. Thank you.
I wanted to ask a quick question of Peter, since we didn't get to him in the last segment. If fans of ours and yours go to your website, they'll read in your bio that you break more sticks than there are trees in the Pacific Northwest. I just want to know, are you just that heavy of a drummer? And can you give us some insight into how you would describe your style?
I definitely do quite a bit of the smashing. Unfortunately, my cymbals also pay the price.
Oh.
So trees are one thing, but the cymbals are the expensive part. I'm a big fan of playing drums the way that I think any drum teacher would tell you not to. I smash on the edge of everything. I rim shot 90% of the time. And so yeah, I play pretty aggressive and pretty heavy-handed. I think that's also why I usually put my shirt off. I'm cooking back here today.
Well, you know, that's a great segue into the next question.
Ripping your shirt off?
Well, you're talking about clothing, and I'm looking at you guys right now, and you're all just looking very dapper with your little
We were
mustache.
actually going to
And
say the same about you guys.
oh, well, thank you.
You're looking good.
But we don't have the matching jackets that you have either.
We didn't actually plan this. We just have a very similar taste.
It's just happened to go into the closet.
I was
yeah,
just going to do the
well,
Mr.
so
Rogers throw my
Yost
shoe.
The Yost boys went ahead and screwed up and shaved their faces, and they strongly regretted it. So luckily,
Yeah.
we had it saved there, and we decided to all join, but mine failed. So there's that.
Well, when you hit the skins as hard as you are, I'd imagine it kind of go all over the place.
Gets moist.
So moving on.
We made it. Hold on. We made it 28 minutes and 58 seconds before someone has to drop the moist.
Yeah.
Moist.
But yeah, there's a T in there this time.
Moist. Moist.
I'm a fan of it being moist.
Moist.
No
All
T.
right. Keep going.
So we're curious. What are some of your biggest influences?
Is that a general band question?
General band question.
General band question.
Kind of odd. So we all snowboard, and it's like a 2-hour drive for us to get to the mountain. And usually we go with no music because we can't agree on what to listen to. The conversation's usually pretty good also, so that buys us quite a bit of time there. But we all come from a little bit of a different background. I personally come from more of like an emo punk style background where there's like some classic rock, and I think Cameron's more of an R&B kind of guy. But I'll hand the mic off if somebody else wanted to jump in on that one.
And then
Don't be
I
afraid to
have a
speak up.
musical
We're a little quiet
theater-
over here.
I have a musical theater background, so that's kind of my influence.
Very
But
cool.
as far as bands like that, because Jason and I, come up with a lot of the stuff, and definitely his riffs are what start the songs that we make. And I would say our influences are System of a Down, Killswitch Engage. We got the boys to go to a Slipknot concert. Actually, except for Pete, most of the boys go to Slipknot concerts. So
Turns out it was very cool.
yeah,
Surprised.
they put on a hell of a show.
That they do.
But definitely like music from that era was what we grew up with, and then just good music is good music. So
That's really a good point to make,
Yeah.
especially, we jump across genres all the time. We don't discriminate based. I mean, ideally, this whole being a guitar show, We'd like for there to be a guitar in the band, but I really don't care what kind of music you play. I'm digging all of it, and any music is, it's important music.
Looks like we lost a little
Sorry
power on
about
the
the
Rented Mule
lights.
side.
It just the lights.
Is that a Hey Siri, make my light green thing, or Hey Alexa?
Oh, now the mic is off. That's okay.
The
Hello?
mic is
Hey,
off.
There you are.
There we go.
We have these dumb wireless mics that have been acting up all night. So
Did you plug the mics into the light switch?
it's probably the same circuit.
Guys, I think we found our echo.
Oh, there it is.
Hell yeah.
All right. Do you guys have any recordings or releases coming out soon? Tell us about some of the previous, what you already have out and what you have coming forward.
So next up is probably going to be a song called Goodbye Old Friend, which is a bit lighter than everything else that we do. It's almost country-ish, but that's a good song. We all like it a lot. It's kind of about just a friend moving away and what that feels like. And then after that, we have a song called Johnny's Got a Gun, which is about school shootings. We're kind of hesitant to release that one at the time. And then there's never a good time in America.
No.
Agoraphobia is probably going to be actually the release before that. And that song is about agoraphobia, which is the fear of leaving your house. And that's probably one of our more effect-heavy songs. It's very spacey sounding, I guess, but also still kind of danceable, which is something we try to do with all of our songs.
Are you going to play that one in your next set, or is that just on the next release?
That's on our next release.
Okay.
I'd have to change guitars for that one.
No, it's cool. I wanted to ask you a question about that, because this isn't something that I have in my notes, and I would have asked you after you performed it if you're performing it. But is that pandemic related and in the aftermath, or is there a different sort of thing behind that?
We wrote it before the pandemic.
Okay.
It's, we just have a friend who struggles with that.
Okay.
And we were kind of writing that song about what we kind of think that might be like.
No, it's very cool. It's insightful.
Yeah, it's totally cool.
And I'm going to be looking out for that release. That sounds like a good album to go and get. Are you are these all downloadable? Will they be mainly through CD Baby, or do you put out local releases?
Everything is on Spotify, Apple Music, and Deezer, whatever that is.
Yeah, right.
A file sharing app, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We are once we release, I think we said 12 songs or so. We're gonna put them out on a CD. Probably just hand those out, or do that ourselves instead of going through distribution and all that.
DIY is definitely cool.
Yeah, we're fans.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump into set number 2, you said you all snowboard. What's your favorite snowboard location? What's your favorite resort around here?
We all go up to White Pass.
Yep.
My personal favorite is Whistler. You said around here. That's
Yeah.
a little far. But yeah, White Pass is great. We all have ridden up at Crystal Mountain a bunch, but not so much anymore since it became prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go
Our
for it.
jackets should make it fit in there, but they still require a price tag at the door.
Huh.
And then again, halfway through the day, if you didn't fold, you pay for parking. I guess it's insane. So
Yeah.
White Pass is phenomenal, though. I love the snow there. They got good people. It's always good energy, and the snow is it's actually the same snow. So
Very cool.
Right on.
Yeah, I grew up in the unincorporated King County area, so we always no one in my family snowboarded. I was the only one who kind of pioneered this thing, did the junior high ski club thing, was like, ooh, this is fun. Let's fly down a mountain. So I always just went up to Snoqualmie, or if I had a couple extra dollars in my pocket, I'd go to Crystal. When I moved down to Olympia, everyone's like, let's go to White Pass. I'm like, what's White Pass? Dude, that's the coolest place in the world. That's what White Pass is. Or at least in Washington.
I spent my youth trying to ski the local mountains. Learned how to snowboard in Big Sky, Montana.
Cool.
When my brother was working there, and then I snowboarded all around Western Washington and up into Whistler Blackcomb as well. So
Yeah.
I need to get back into it. I haven't done it in so many years.
I'm gonna throw one out there. You guys should try ski biking.
Ski
that's
bike.
Is that the thing that it's like you're just on a bike and you're like on a sled at the same time? Or?
It's a bike, but it's got 2 skis instead of wheels. But there's just 2 of them. It doesn't pedal. It's just stagnant. You got to get sideways to stop, just like everybody else.
Oh.
But
It sounds like a way for me to crotch a piece of metal at 50 miles an hour on 35-degree decline.
Hey, if you're doing 50, you're doing good.
Okay.
I felt that. Is that
Yeah.
wrong?
No, yeah.
Oh. I will say real quickly before we get into your set, we'll go ahead and let you get set up there. Christy Rask says that goodbye.
That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Rask.
Oh.
Goodbye,
Christy.
old friend.
Hey, Mom.
Love it.
I love it when
It's a
mom.
favorite.
I love it when mom and or dad is supportive on the podcast because.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
keep-
and I will say the fan who pointed out that they were a little bit quiet earlier was my mom.
Yeah.
So it's nice that somebody else's mom is also.
It's, like as much as earlier on in our life we like to pretend like we're cool and go like you can't. Anyone in your life that wants to show you that kind of support and love doing the stuff that you want to do, it's
Heck yeah.
it's you're blessed.
That support is definitely. It makes it worth it.
Absolutely.
Well,
How do you feel about playing a second set real quick?
Let's do it.
Very
a couple
cool.
more tunes from Rented Mule for you here on
All right.
Endorian Backstage.
Well, I'm gonna let Brian. You want to do some vocalizations while they, or not?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just saying that that this again, Rented Mule. We're glad to have them on the show.
It's true.
The second attempt is actually working out great this time.
Yeah, no, I've been enjoying this show. I mean, I don't enjoy speaking anymore,
with
but
this if that cool.
all right, let's do it.
Let's go.
Almost. We're not quite there. So I'll just say that this episode has been brought to you by Coconut Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really taste much like coconut.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Procrastination, time is wasting, leading into tireless. Fumigation while you seek your breathing, toxic slurring of suffocating, contemplating, constantly proliferating, confident to know the mention someone. Tell me why is it so hard to breathe? So I'll run after father away, so I don't let you down. Run after father away, so I don't let you down. Run after father away, so I don't let you down. Run after father away, so I don't let you. How to keep you what the most time to cap the water is free. Who the fuck am I enough to feel the same about me? It's complicated, no erasing, first impression lasts forever. No mistakes, I'm leaning forward, make the move, put it all on the line. This time, so I'll run faster farther away, so I don't let you down. Run faster farther away, so I don't let you down. Run faster farther away, so I don't let you down. understand what love means to me. What love means to me. What does love mean? What does trust mean? Oh Lord, you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me. What does it all mean? 'Cause I don't think I ever really knew. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Aloha, Dad,
All right,
in
this is
Hawaii,
our
Nikios.
last song that we're going to play this evening. This is one of the local favorites. It's called Pirates of the Puget Sound.
1, 2, 3, 4. Drinking and fighting is what we're going to do. Womanizing, terrorizing is nothing new. And this here, our goal is clear. Pirating and pillaging all local beers. Come to us to set our course. Taking to the streets with the chanting force. This here, our goal is clear. Pirating and pillaging all local beer. I'm your wife and I'm your daughter. We drink only beer, come that's the water. When we're near you, best be not around. We're pirates of the Puget Sound. Drinking and fighting is what we're going to do. Womanizing, terrorizing, it's nothing new. Here, our goal is clear. Pirating and pillaging all local beer. Come to us, set our course. Taking to the streets with the chanting force. This here, our goal is clear. Pirating and pillaging all local beer. Hide your wife and hide your daughter. We drink only beer, cause that's the water. When we're near you, that's be not around. We're pirates of the Puget. Off to well 80 to get ourselves a nail. And head to head this from Maine, get ourselves some pale. We guys used to call it drunkenness prevails. Climbing up the top rung to raise our forward sail. Head down to Olympia to get ourselves a beer. Well, that's what he had in action. That's what I hear. Terrorize for that. Fill the hearts of beer. Let's destroy all that's here. Hide your wife and hide your daughter. We go in beer cause that's the water. When we're near you, best be not around. We're no good, low life, thieving, degenerate. Pirates of the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's how you end a set.
Dude.
That's how you end a set.
That's a
That
cheap
was-
microphone.
That was a lot of fun.
Energy. So much energy.
We drink only beer because it's the water.
Yeah,
I
we
love
drink
that. That's
only
my
beer
favorite
'cause
part.
it's the water. Hell
That's
yeah.
my favorite part.
Man, so many influences there too.
Yeah.
Like I'm
definitely.
picking out like 3 or 4 different bands that I'm hearing, you know.
Yeah, you get some of the local influence. You get some of the mainstream influence. It's definitely, it's all in there. I love it.
You guys hear us?
We can hear you.
Oh my God! Thank you for that. Thank
So-
you for the first set, but like especially thank you for the
Yeah,
second
that
set.
one-
It's
That was a way to
Yeah.
end the set. That's for sure. I love that track. Real quick, Nick Yost says aloha from Dad in Hawaii.
Hey, we got dad and mom.
That's right.
Let's see if
Okay.
we can-
That's support right there. I love it.
I'm gonna go out of order here because I want to know where you're playing next.
We don't have anything booked. So book us.
Okay.
We weren't really pushing much this last little bit. We've been working songs recorded.
Okay.
Also, it's snowboard season.
Also, it's snowboard season.
That's
So,
why you
we
play the
are
mountains.
excited- Yeah.
And
So White Pass, Crystal Mountain, hit it up. Let's do it.
There you go.
well,
play
yeah,
ski
maybe
towns.
we can work with the White Pass folks and do like a similar thing to that whole like board this of the '90s and like do some.
Yeah, there hasn't been
Yeah.
something like that for a while.
We're down.
Holy crap, that was that was intense, and I don't think it takes much. It doesn't take much listening to become an instant fan of Rented Mule. That's
I don't
that's
think so.
my takeaway.
You guys are
Yeah.
excellent, and we appreciate
Truer
you guys
words
coming
have never been spoken.
Truer words have never been spoken. Well, I mean, drink only beer, but yeah.
on. We drink only beer 'cause it's the water. Favorite part. Love it.
Yeah.
Since you're talking about needing to be booked, where haven't you played that you would like to?
Climate Pledge Arena.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, I'm gonna
right.
text somebody.
We might know somebody. I don't know. It's possible. No, I don't think we do.
Well, we can do what we
But
can do. The
it's
more we
possible.
keep this show going, the more someone might see it. You know.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. Anywhere around town or around the Northwest?
So when we got together, our first show was before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We had like all these local Olympia venues picked out that we wanted to play at, and most of them are closed.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really sad. We're hoping that they reopen. There's some news that they might, but Rhythm and Rye was the one that I'm specifically thinking of.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know the Seattle area super well, especially like the venues up there. I mean, I've been to some bigger shows, and I don't think. Oh, you're not?
They're from Olympia.
Oh shit! Well, fuck.
Well, it's
No,
it's,
it's
cool,
all
though.
good. Like we
He
know a
grew
little
up-
bit of both. I grew up closer to Seattle, but I've been here since 2006, so easy mistake to make.
And we've
but
played plenty of shows in Seattle,
You know,
Tacoma,
and
Olympia areas. Too,
there was so much,
you know them places.
so many politics and so much drama surrounding the Rhythm and Rye situation. But the fact is like Andy, the owner, he's not going anywhere. That guy is loyal to Olympia, and even if it's not Rhythm and Rye, give it time. Andy's going to put something together. And people weren't loyal to Rhythm and Rye; they were loyal to Andy's business.
Right.
And if he put together that business that had that success, it's going to happen again.
And the thing is Andy is loyal to the music. So
Yes, 100%.
he just loves all music.
Yeah.
He's a kind of a jazz guy originally. Plays trumpet, I believe, and Gunslinger was the first metal
Yeah.
band to play his spot, the Rhythm and Rye.
Yeah.
He's had every kind of band, so I know that he's gonna have a venue of some kind at some point here opening again. I guarantee it.
Maybe he can be the guy to finally put a club in the old vault or Thekla that lasts for more than 6 months.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Fingers.
Sometimes I wonder if that place is cursed.
It's absolutely cursed, man.
I think it is.
I will shamelessly admit that for a very brief period of time, I went there once a week when it was when they turned it into a. The hell's it called? Not Coyote Ugly, but
There's the country
whiskey?
bar.
the
Big
country bar.
whiskey?
Because
Big
not
whis-
because it
Big
was
whiskey.
not because it was a country bar, but because once a week they did rock bot karaoke. So as a guy who missed being in a band at the time but still wanted that experience, it was cool to go up and stand on stage and just basically be the singer in a band for 5 minutes, but that was them, not
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember, I think one of the last times I was ever in that venue inside was I met Ron Jeremy. We won't talk about that now. That was weird. That was really weird. So that's
Wow.
why I never went back, because that place is. You have Ron Jeremy show up to do an autograph signing or whatever, and a rap show or some shit. Like, it
Wait,
was
he's
weird.
a local?
No,
You're done.
the hedgehog is not.
How do you
local.
look like Ron Jeremy? It's the water.
Yeah.
Actually, these days, if you took a dunk in Capitol Lake, you might come out looking like Ron Jeremy.
It's a possibility.
You know what part I'm done.
Yeah, probably not that part. That's yeah.
That's a
we've
total
we've
different.
yeah we've crossed
gone
a
off the rails. On
we've
this one.
crossed a line.
This one's on you guys. Sorry.
It's true.
That's
it's true.
my fault. That's my fault. I'll take full credit for that. There's got to be at least once a show.
They call it a nutria.
Yeah. Ugh.
So tell us about your favorite performance. What's your favorite performance?
Ooh, that's where? Oh yeah, we played a Halloween show at McCoy's, and we had all different Mortal Kombat outfits on
Yeah.
for Halloween. It was awesome. Yeah,
That's
Jason and I were
rad.
Zero and Scorpion. Adam was Raiden, and Peter was Luke Cage. He didn't wear a shirt. Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage.
I think I used a photo from that show as the original promo when you guys were on in November, like standing there up front, like that. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember. It was interesting, kind of like doing the research on the band, because every single photo from every single show was completely like inconsistent in theme. Like one, you guys were like in white tank tops and fluorescent shorts, and we got suit jackets on, and then there's Mortal Kombat, and like you guys are just a fun group of folks. And like, when do you make the decision that you're gonna this show is gonna be this theme, or is it just kind of off the seat of your pants, or what? How do you do it?
Whenever we sell enough T-shirts to buy a costume.
Hell yeah!
I love it.
We have a list of a bunch of ideas, but we can't afford them, so buy T-shirts.
All right. Well,
Are they available on your website or Facebook?
No, you have to call us or send us an email. We'll get you some.
All right.
Come to a show.
Come to a show, definitely.
Well, we already asked you. You're upcoming.
That's right.
Schedule a
no
show.
shows are scheduled as of yet, but we will get that out there. We'll help boost that out when we see your next show. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So this is where we start winding down, and we got a couple more questions to ask you, and then we're going to turn it over to you. But advice for folks wanting to start a band, whether they're late in life and wanting to remember what it was like to be younger and have fun, or whether they're 14 years old and they just want to find someone to jam with. Advice.
Set a routine. It's really hard to be in a band when you get together once a month and it's unscheduled and all that. If you pick a day or two a week and you stick to it, stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Very true.
Talk to people. Anybody that plays an instrument, pretty good chance that they want to play also. Most of us actually grew up together. I grew up across the street from both these Yost boys, and I played in a band back then. My drums sat on a shelf for a few years until I happened to run into Jason, and here we are again 4 years later, and I went from a drum set on the shelf to one at every location.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would just say that there's a time and a place to be stubborn, There's a time to know exactly what you want, and there's a time to be flexible because it's music. You can change it.
I'm taking that personally.
Damn it, don't be so
I was thinking
stubborn.
with me and lyrics. I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to can those, and we'll do something different.
Sweet.
Yeah, I guess find an established band, weasel your way in.
Yeah.
It's great advice.
Spoken like a true bass player.
Well,
oh
man, it's been a blast having you guys on. You guys rocked the show tonight. Hopefully you had as good a time as we did.
Absolutely.
So,
is there anything you guys want to say that we didn't cover that you want to? This is your chance to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Buy a T-shirt.
Buy a T-shirt.
We print our own shirts.
Cool.
So far, all of the shirts that are out there, and for the foreseeable future, they're our design. We have a buddy actually draw it up for us. Aaron Turcott is his name, and we've been screen printing all of our own shirts. Obviously, we buy them online, but we get the nice ones so they're comfy. We take a lot of time. It's the whole group that gets together for printing shirts. So
right on,
dude. I love it, man. Cradle to grave. You guys are in it 100% of the way, every step. I love it.
DIY. Gotta love it. Well, thank you guys, Rented Mule, for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All
We
right.
had a lot of fun.
Guys have a good
Rock
night.
and roll, guys.
You too.
Man, that was fun.
I lost my mouse. There it is.
There it is.
That's us.
That was a lot of fun.
Dude, I feel so fortunate to have these guys on, and I'm so glad that even though we had those tech issues back in November and it looked like we were going to all fall apart today for 5 minutes, that it came together. So
yeah, second time's a charm for sure. Let us know, of course, how the show went for you guys on the YouTube side.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas for shows that you want to see, topics you want to talk about, feel free to let us know on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
I agree with all their advice for starting a band, and jumping into that because I don't want to lose this thought. But like the one that I wanted to add to that I think it all kind of gravitates around is that nothing happens if you don't do anything. Not necessarily like how you go about doing it, but that you take action.
Just do it.
Just do it. Well, okay, Nike, but if you want to do, like we were saying earlier, if you want to do something, do it. And what if you're scared? Well, do it scared. And then like so many people don't ask for help because we're afraid of looking stupid in front of like, I don't know how to start a band. Then ask somebody how to start a band.
Well, and if you don't know how to do something and you do it, you're going to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like there's so much knowledge just in fucking up.
Yes.
Like, your growth doesn't take place from your successes.
Right.
And like, that's like this weird mind, we all kind of grew up with this idea that go become an expert and then go do something, with this idea that somehow knowledge doesn't, like, becoming an expert comes from like this smooth ascension into the planes of knowledge. It's like, no, your knowledge and your experience comes from the biggest screw ups that you will ever make.
Well, and I mean, it's like Metallica said, right? When they were first starting out, they were baloney on hand.
Baloney on hand.
That's all they had. And they fought their way through it. So, and that's the thing. You got to just, if you really want to do something, do it. Just do it. You'll have some hardship.
You'll have tons of it.
You'll have failures, and I hate to say it. I think it's kind of lame, but at the same time means a lot. That you can use fail as an acronym for first attempt in learning, right? I mean, I know.
Well, I know.
It's
right. It's right.
It's true. When you fail, that's like you're saying. When you fail, that's when you make the biggest steps in learning.
It wouldn't be a cliche or an acronym if it wasn't true. Right.
Right. So,
well, very cool.
And I mean, we could do a whole show on that. Advice for people starting a band.
I've found myself involved in so many conversations over the last week, which is probably why my voice isn't getting any better. And like mid-conversation, I realized that we should be rolling this because so many of these, I want to start getting into doing some shows where like we just talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it honestly doesn't even need to, like, you don't have to be a musician. It'll still apply to you. It'll be based in music, but quite honestly, anyone's going to take something from it. But that was the whole goal behind Backstage from the beginning. Yeah. You should be able to turn this show on whether or not you've picked up a guitar. It's for the guitarist's journey, but quite honestly, if you're anybody, you should be able to sit there and pick up a nugget.
Right. This is the idea is not just for guitarists.
Yeah.
You can take the ideas that we have that we're bringing about playing guitar and about being in a band, about playing music, and you could really apply this stuff to any portion of life. Yeah, I mean, being a guitar player is like special, but it's not outside humanity. It's just a niche. It's just like, this is, if it applies here, it applies there. Well, cool. So that was our guest, Rented Mule, on Backstage for January 10th, 2023. Yeah. Upcoming shows and events. What do we got going on? Well,
I guess there's the big one.
We do have the big one in March, but we also have. Do we have any word yet on the amp builder in Texas?
No, I'm gonna touch base with Jasper Amplification very soon. He's mid shop building. Yeah. And so is John Beeson from Wood Spirit Guitars. I'd like to bring him back in at some point. He's a little overwhelmed at the moment with a million different things, but he is building also a new wood shop. Yeah. And then I think it might be fun to bring in Bill Leach of Leach Built.
Oh, for sure.
He, I met him at the Seattle Guitar Show, and he was one of those people that was very quick to give, which is one of the reasons why you gotta love that dude, because there's no. Yeah.
And that was with the Behemoth, right?
Yeah. He sat there and played it, and then just said, volunteered any amount of wisdom that he could, and he was thinking about moving to a warmer place, and I was like, well, this was nice while it lasted, and then he didn't. He moved, but he stayed local. And I feel incredibly blessed to be able to like have continued access to the guy. But he's such a good dude, and he makes more than guitars. Like Leach built Leach built guitars, but he makes games and all sorts of cool woodworking stuff. So cool. Yeah, just a good person to see.
Yeah, I'd like to have Tony back on, Tony Reed, talk about more Moss Generator, but also talk about like studio work. He's an engineer, and
Yeah.
producer. So I'd love to get some more kind of background on that
Yeah.
for ourselves and our listeners on what to expect when you go into the studio and how you should act and all that kind of stuff. So
Quick plug for Tony. His latest release, Moss Generator's latest release, Time Wounds, came out. I ordered myself a vinyl. Sounds great.
hell yeah.
And then
I'm going to buy mine directly from Tony one of these days.
there you go. There you go. Well, I'll send you with mine. You can have him sign it.
Yeah, there we go. I can do that.
So March 21st is a Tuesday,
It is a Tuesday.
and I'm so excited about March 21st.
Matt's been very excited about March 21st before we knew it was going to be on March 21st.
It's true. It's true.
And I kind of have to.
So if you remember the band in the 80s, Autograph, with the hit single Turn Up the Radio, Autograph has obviously in time gone through some different lineup changes.
Different iterations.
But
yes.
Steve Lynch, the lead guitar player from the former Autograph, will be on Endorian Guitar Works backstage
It's gonna be
on
really
March
cool.
21st, talking all things Autograph, all things Steve Lynch.
Maybe playing the iconic solo from
Maybe
Turn Up the
playing, yeah. I'd like him to talk about it, his experiences at the Guitar Institute and things that are going on right now in terms of what happens when. Well, I'll let Steve talk about it, but there's some interesting stuff going on with Autograph right now that, in a way, it's heartbreaking, and another way, it's very insightful into the kind of stuff that takes place within the music business.
Right.
So we're gonna let Steve. Oh, and talk about his autobiography,
Yes,
which
I
is
can't
being
forget about
released. So that's gonna be that's a really exciting date for me, and I'm hoping to have a voice again by then. But if not, you can talk with Steve
I guess
the
I
whole
can talk
time.
to Steve.
Yeah.
No,
right.
I want you to have a voice for that too.
Yeah,
So we should cut off now. So
Yeah.
you can go and rest, get some lozenges, get some
love and death.
maybe a nice hot toddy.
A hot toddy. So put that on your calendar. March 21st, 2023. It's gonna be a blast.
7:30 in the p.m. local time.
in the Pacific time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lives in Florida. That's going to be uncomfortably late for him, but
Well, it might not be. I mean, he is an Autograph.
he
He's used to
is
playing late
yeah,
shows.
he's way cooler than any of us. Yeah. That's dinner time.
So yeah, it'll be great. Show up. 2 weeks from now, we're planning another show.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Do we have a guest locked in or anything?
No, we don't have a guest locked. Well, we'll
I
figure
think
it
it's
out.
probably gonna. It may just be. We haven't done a gear show in a while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Might be a good time for that. New year. Let's rock and roll.
Let us know what you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got a band or know a band that you think we should be listening to and put on a show and talk to, send them our way. If you want a guitar built, come Matt's way. You need some work done on your guitar. This guy, he can do it. So
I use little tiny chisels.
he does. It's very little tiny tools.
Stop hitting this thing.
Stop it.
All right, we're gonna let you go. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday and happy 2023.
Happy 2023.
Don't
I hope
forget.
you've been safe.
Don't forget, fret less,
Rock!
more.
Exclamation point.
See ya.